Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to my channel, Joy to the World. I am your reader, Melissa Joy. I'm pretty excited. I had to go ahead and tap the button, even though you can see I'm still shuffling here. Knight of Cups is coming on out. Who had that? Was that Virgo? Oh, yeah. You might want to check out their reading because yours seems to want to be a bit of Oracle. Now, I'm going to leave those sitting there because they're kind of starting to push. They push and they spill. They push and they spill. We were talking about this is where we're going from in these last 20 years for you, Scorpio. Hopefully y'all can see because, I mean, the sun is starting to turn out here. We've had some weather at the beach, so I'm over here blocked from the wind. But that having been hemmed in by like old karma, old situations, maybe an old marriage, old foundational truths, like that old world way, you're like, let's get into the good stuff. I'm totally in that with you, Scorpio, because you busted through at our channel, finally moving past the eyes being here and the protectiveness to getting into the full, like, I would say spaceship type authority, like, you know, the Merkaba where people talk about our energy field. It is the time travel machine. That's why you can think about somebody and then you bump into them the next day. You get me? It's kind of like more, when you can, like, lucid dreaming for deja vu. Do you see what I mean? That you're crafting those moments in those situations. So you're talking about, like, this is the old meninges, the old nervous system, and little science lesson. Yes, it is important. So they're like the radiator or the coolant for our lightning body. Our nervous system moves at the speed of light, right? Which can create heat, light, or motion. You know, electricity can cause things to catch on fire, to blow up, to whatever else, to discharge a lot of energy. Well, we have the meninges going on around it to cool it and to keep the pressure there and to nourish, and you're saying nurturize it. Why not? To nurturize it, you might want to check out Gemini if that's you, my friend. To nutritize it and to keep it fresh, to keep it percolating. And so it has 3 layers. It's like a sandwich. And the pieces of bread are the pia mater and the dura mater. Okay? Now that simply means the soft mother, pia, and the hard mother, dura. Okay? So it's like the paint and then the clear coat. You want both of them to go together, but then there's the space in between, that arachnid layer, and that's where it had gotten caught up in all this old gobbledygook, trying to go back to what seems like the family's ways or the world's ways, and you're like dying trying, and you're going, something overtook me. That wasn't necessarily my own will and permission. I was trying to escape. I was trying to leave that forest of illusion and to get into the truth of who I am. So what you're showing here is kind of like the hard mother and the soft mother. This is like that shine coat, the clear coat. There's the soft mother, the deep inner knowings. And here is the arachnid layer. It's talking about community. I love that. Isolated community. And it doesn't have to be the same. Don't have to get in places where you think you're going to be accepted, or where, you know, maybe like gamers groups, or what are those fantasy groups called? Cosplay and stuff like that. Imagine, I guess it's going to kind of become like Star Wars in the cantina, where the world's just going about every which way, wherever it is. So some of you might want to check out the Aquarius reading as well, because that's a lot of Aquarius joy showing up for you, which is interesting. Aquarius heart. Aquarius heart. So maybe you have Jupiter in Aquarius. And there is very much like that, being led by the least of these. So some of you, if you're thinking about investment or crown achievements, or say you were going to start a YouTube, you might find great success in the thing that seems the least likely. The thing that seems like, you know, low end, very basic, very simple, but it has a tremendous power to it, and it's going to catch on swiftly. I'll just let you gaze at this instead of me telling you all about it. It's going to catch on swiftly. You're on the headwinds, my friend. Scorpio, you're on the headwinds. And that's creating this whole magical land, and you really vibe and jibe with the animal kingdom. And there's a lot of power coming in there for you, not just white stag. It's like your cloud of witnesses is creation. It's the animal kingdom coming along as you have been a, we'll just say a defender of the fantasy land, of this happy world, of everybody, let's get along, kumbaya. That is very Scorpionic. And I love that it finally broke through to your heart, Scorpio, and not having to sit up here in that jazzy dip anymore. It's like moving on out into the fullness and the truth of who you are. And it looks like this. Restoring our world. East meets West. You know, modern medicine with ancient medicine. Seed cultivation. Being one who cares about the wisdom and the elders as just as well as the youth of today. A believer. A believer. Someone who's willing to let their heart beat believing in that truth. Not having to write it off like a ticket and dismiss it and stick it over there as that isn't really going to happen. Somehow you've carried space inside of you. A sacred space. Where your heart still brings truth. It still brings in this wisdom and this truth. And it's going to look to make you abound. There's a lot of financial prosperity in this, my friend. And personal meaning and satisfaction. That is your soul food right here. Okay, and this is your earth in existence. So this is heaven on earth, and it's going to look like this. So some of you may have divining work to do with the animal kingdom. You could be an artist. You could be somebody who works with animal rights. You could also be David Attenborough, right? It's pretty neat. He wasn't just always a narrator. He was the one going out collecting the film and the perspectives that were shared with our world and what he's witnessed in his 100 years, nearly 100 years. So sharing with us what you've witnessed, what may have been overlooked by some or imperceptible by some because you so longed and looked for it that you catch it at the slightest glimpse. It's there for everyone to see. Do you see the rainbow? It's there for everyone to see. But you're looking headlong. They're looking all sorts of places, and this group is starting to catch on. Like, oh, wait, okay. Okay, I kind of see. Where are they looking? Oh, okay. They're able to extrapolate it because they're really catching on with your vibe and your flow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Scorpio. So this week's theme is about being blessed, not stressed. And this is what you're bringing in, your truth, the power of the genie. Genie is plural of genius, right? I need a sip of some liquid. As you can see, the glisten is here. It is for real, my friends. One more. Magnificent power, and it all comes together in the one. So this is almost like, this is like a tree, and this is all the fruit. This is a tree, and this is all the seasons. I love it. You're showing up at your life's purpose and your life's plan. The wheel is all together. You've experienced all of it. All the pieces and parts and components are there, and you're lining them up, and you're taking inventory of them, assessment of them. This could be like a storyline for a book series. Maybe you're writing for children or preteens, right? People whose imaginations are really very fertile. Maybe you're somebody who's creating a cookbook or whatever, and you've already decided the different sections that you're going to use for entertaining. But that's what it is. It's all starting to line up. It makes sense to you, and you have the energy connections to them. But as you see, you're not having to labor or work right now. There's none of that. It's just the power of the mind and the imagination and seeing what you can see. Seeing what it looks like to you, not just seeing in the eyes. It's like smell-o-vision, right? You're seeing it, and it's creating a sensory experience, a sensational experience. So some of you might want to check out Libra. Libra was once considered the claws of the scorpion. But getting into that, attaining it, obtaining it, but not like with the hand. It's like grasping the concept, getting the principle versus the rules, because rules we have to count on fingers and whatever else. But if you have the principle of do no harm, basic tenet of massage therapy, or you live by the golden rule, you know, love God, love others, love yourself, and that love is all the same, then you know you're not going to do to others what you wouldn't want done to you. If you put yourself totally in their shoes, do you see that principle? It really, it saves a lot of ink and a lot of trees, friend. You don't have to write a gazillion books, which, you know, might cause that self-help industry to suffer quite a bit. Because we need our self-help. Our self doesn't need our help. That's the beauty of what's going on here. So this is getting in tune. Like, this is your spirit, and this is you. And the communication is going on because you can see the light and the delight prospering and abounding around here. And many of you, it is this autumnal season that is coming in, the fall equinox that is coming in. I'm super excited about it because we're on the precipice of a whole new beginning, moving into that whole new world. We're already there and whatever else, but it's like the last choosing of the mind, the set of the settings to where when it goes, beep, you're in the zone that you're in. And if you stay true to your world and you're staying in your world, you're like going to begin to see the bounty and the beauty there. And it's like, oh, it is real, it is real, it is real, it is real. That's exciting. I love that for you, Scorpio. Let me see if there's anything that Tattoo wants to jump out for us. Lots of swords, lots of clarity. And it's showing a hint of protectiveness, but the best way to protect this is to not overshare. That's it. That there are times if you're feeling very bubbly or exuberant, I would say just set the intention of, if you're going around a group of friends and something and you're like, please don't share that new idea that we have. Please don't share that new idea. That you tell yourself, look yourself in the mirror and say, we're not going to share. I'm not going to, I just, whatever pronoun, you get what I'm saying? We're not going to share that idea yet. It's for me to carry. You know how some women, when they're pregnant, they wait until a certain number of months along before they share, right? Because they want to be able to protect their headspace and the energy that they're walking in, because maybe you were someone who was prone to doubt or worry, or maybe like you had to be for so long, you had to be so protective of, you know, that's the 3 eyes, right? When it got all bunched up here and you having to protect what you were here to share with the world. And I love it that that's dissipating, gone away. That tarantula card has gone away and we're moving into that new energy, is that your shine alone is the clear coat that protects it. Any mud, dirt, whatever, it can just be rinsed right off. And here you have the power to create the clean canvas. The clean canvas for many of you. Bison, Buffalo Spirit is here for you. And Cosmic Blue coming in. The ancestors want to speak with you. They want to speak through you. And they want to speak to you. So that's more of the me, myself, and I. And they're talking about housing dilemmas. Housing dilemmas. Who has a housing dilemma? All right, let's just stop for a moment. Holy Spirit, I ask you to help this one who has the housing dilemma. Send your creative juices, your creative power, your creative light, your insight, your good ideas, your earth angels to surround them and to begin to show up, not just in the invisible imagination, but before the very eyes, that they can touch it, see it, feel it, smell it, to be encouraged in their belief, to take hold of it and let that seed sprout up. Send the caregivers to help them begin to give the care, the support that they needed, because this person wasn't coming from that place of support, and they need to learn and experience what that is to shore up that once weakness, just where it got kind of worn through time and age and weight and burden, and just alleviate the taxation and the interest that was put on them, and bring them into the pure perfect now. Take those weights of encumbrances off of them and give them the provision that they need. I thank you for coming through. I thank you for turning on the lights and restoring delight to their heart, because, oh dear friend, when you're in that challenging and difficult situation, it can often dim or you know, I mean, when does the sun not shine? The cloud may obscure it from the viewer, but it doesn't obscure the light from the sun. And that some of it is maybe wanting some shelter from these hardships that you've gone through, because it's like, I'm the sun, I'm expected to always shine, I'll always be happy to always get through this, but I want some support, some human support, some acknowledgement that this chick, this dude is human. Let's give you some love. Let's give you some appreciation. Let's give you some, you know, a listening ear, a gentle shoulder to land upon. Cook you dinner, rub your feet, give you a hug, you know, just for a minute, to all of a sudden just let that armor meld off. Let it meld off and no longer have to go around as a scorpion, right? No longer having to go around as a skunk. Being able to get into the human side of who you are. That brings the Four of Wands. I love it. This is bringing you out of that Taurus North Node, the Death Star, the lockdown. For many of you, you experience it twice as hard as anybody else. And just the acknowledgement of that internally is going to provide the light and the relief that you need. And let your delight begin to cut back on and kind of get the skip in your feet. Not, you know, the whistle or the humming of your tune, getting your, like, getting your rhythm back, you know, that little bit of zhuzh, that savoir-faire, savoir. Who says savoir-faire? I love you, friend. The savoir-faire. Look at this. This is like having company over for dinner, a circle of tight friends, like close friends, people that get you, and that when they ask, they mean it. And some that they may be busy right now and didn't think to ask, but if you need it, ask it of them. That's what they're saying. Reach out to your friend group. Ask it of us. Let us show our strength and our support, because sometimes if you've been through difficult times, people give you that bit of a space because it's kind of like they don't want to trigger you, but really they don't want to make it any harder on you than it needs to be, because sometimes they figure if you want to talk about it, you'll open up and share. They don't want to just pry it open or anything like that. So that's an amazing friend group here, people. And the 7 of coins, that begins to help you make progress and locate yourself. Locate yourself. Some of you may want to check out your 4th house, wherever that is. That's called your North Star, and or the midnight. So when we get lost, we can find our way back home. So you might check out whatever zodiac sign that is for you, my friend. Check in with your friend groups. They're going to get shortchanged this and get you. They're like, we know a better way. We're just going to go this way instead of having to go through all these levels and all these devils. They'll just keep you crying. That support, friend, really turns things around. It's almost like there's been spiritual warfare against you in the outer realms. And so these earth angels, these tight friends, these loving people, it's as if when that occurs, it was almost like a checklist on that thing saying, oh, you can keep tearing them up until they have, true friends. And you can have true friends, but when you reach out to your true friends is when your true friends know that you trust in them, and it just dissolves all that shizdizzery. Wow, that's powerful, Scorpio. Well, I'm excited for you. I'm glad that you have a really tight friend group, maybe even a bestie. Take a little time, maybe even a little retreat, an overnight or something like that could really serve you well. So if you'll do me a favor, tap that subscribe button down below if you'd like to join this channel, but also tap that like button for me. It helps us rise to the top. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments down below, and I'm excited. Scorpio is here, the imagination. All right, I love you, friends. Bye.